We all know that the Republic of Ireland team has been filled with quite a few players who weren't born on the island or even know the first 4 words of the national anthem. Let's take a look at a combined 11 of foreign players that were linked with the Republic of Ireland call-up. And no, Jack Grealish, you do not make this team. Thank God. John Phelan. Okay, we get it. All the best Irish goalkeepers have actually declared for Ireland, which given between the posts for so long, I don't think anyone was clamouring for the services of John Phelan, the former Cambridge United goalkeeper best remembered for sitting on the bench when Wigan were promoted to the Premier League. He represented Australia twice. In fairness, they haven't done too badly with goalkeepers either. But since he does possess an Irish passport, he expressed an interest in representing the boys in green. In February 1999, FIFA ended his dream. Not one person in Ireland cared, because he'd already played for the Australian Olympic team. Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand is one of the greatest defenders in Premier League history, and there was a chance he could have played for Ireland. Well, factually at least. There wasn't a hope in hell of him choosing to spend his international career screaming at Paul McShane beside him. The former Manchester United centre-half qualifies through his mother and revealed that the FAI did approach him, but according to Rio, while he does love a pint of Guinness, it was never going to happen. And so the FAI tried to explore the possibility of calling up his brother Anton instead, which is basically like settling for a dodgy takeaway after you find out the 5-star restaurant is closed. Martin Keown. Martin Keown's son is just declared for Ireland. Just a shame his dad couldn't have done the same when his mother was from Galway and his father from Mana. Jack Charlton did try to sniff out the possibility of bringing the Arsenal man on board in the 90s. Coming from an Irish family, Keown even played GAA and listened to the Chieftains every Sunday morning. If he wasn't dragged up for mass at the crack of dawn and threatened with the wooden spoon every 5 minutes, was he really Irish though? He went on to play 43 times for England, but sure, who cares when you have a team full of Gary Breens? Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce played over 400 games for Manchester United, won 3 league titles, 3 FA Cups, and yet never played for England. Jay Boothroyd played for England and he barely knows how to kick the ball in a straight line. You probably wouldn't have blamed Bruce for getting sick of the lack of international recognition and giving the FAI a call. He'd already been contacted by Charlton after the Geordie discovered his mother had been born in Ireland. He's since revealed the reason he didn't play for the boys in green was because it would have caused problems for his club during a time when the Premier League restricted the number of foreign players they could field. His son, on the other hand, has a combined 4 caps for both the Republic and North of Ireland. He clearly failed in both auditions because the Wigan defender hasn't heard back since. Aaron Lennon. If Ireland had acted a bit quicker, who knows, they could have had Aaron Lennon sprinting down the touchline instead of Aidan McGeady, who seems to skip past the defender, reach the corner flag and then get very confused about what to do next for the last 10 years. Lennon, who has an Irish mother, was picked up by England very quickly, selected for the 2006 World Cup squad at the age of 19. Just a shame for him that he's represented the nation twice in the last 7 years and not since 2013. Paul Gascoigne. Paul Gascoigne may not be having the best of times these days, but Gazza is one of the most iconic England players in recent years, and apparently could have been 1 week away from snubbing the 3 Lions to play for the Republic. The year was 1987, and with an Irish grandmother, Charlton has claimed that if he had spoken to Gazza's mother a week earlier, he might have been able to talk the family around. Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes had the pick of countries to play for. With a grandmother from the Republic of Ireland and a grandfather from the North, he could have decided to represent some shade of green, you know, if he preferred playing behind Kevin Doyle and David Healy as opposed to Alan Shearer and Michael Owen. As we all know, he didn't and chose to play for England, where he ended up being stuffed out on the left wing as Sven-Göran Eriksson tried to fit 3 world-class central midfielders into a 4-4-2. Tactical genius. After getting tired of that, he hung up the international boots before he even turned 30. Darren Fletcher. If the Republic of Ireland somehow managed to beat Wales and scraped their way into the playoffs, Martin O'Neill should probably send Darren Fletcher a bouquet of flowers after he ballooned Scotland's chances over the bar from about 5 yards out against Slovenia. Fletcher, though, who has 79 caps for Scotland, was initially tipped as Roy Keane's successor at Old Trafford. The comparison caused most fans to spit out their coffee, but to be fair, the man did improve and played almost 350 games for the club. Despite having an Irish mother, Fletcher chose not to take up the mantle of replacing Keane at international level as well, and so enjoyed a career free of international tournaments with the Scots. Frank Quadra. Back in 2005, Frank Quadra was a run-of-the-mill mid-table left-back, with the French FA probably not caring where or who Middlesbrough was, and so he declared that he was willing to be selected for Brian Kerr's Ireland squad, shoving his Irish grandfather in the face of the FAI as proof that he warranted a call-up just as much as the likes of Ian Hart. Unfortunately for Quadra, after a bit more digging, he discovered that it was actually his great-grandfather who was Irish, and so he ended up retiring with a single cap for the French B team to his name. Tim Cahill. So Tim Cahill is held up as a corner flag punching god in Australia these days. The 37-year-old has played over 100 times for the Socceroos, scoring 48 goals and at 3 World Cups. The Aussies would probably like to forget that he threatened legal action against FIFA because they wouldn't let him play for the Republic of Ireland Ireland though. The Millwall midfielder was desperate to represent the boys in green at the 2002 World Cup, but despite having Irish grandparents, was ineligible due to having already represented Western Samoa in 2 under-20 World Cup qualifying games when he was 14 years old and covered in spots. In the end, the ruling was overturned 2 years later, meaning he could represent Ireland, but by then the World Cup had been and gone, and the prospect of playing next to Lee Carsley for both club and country became a lot less appealing. So Australia it was. Ireland have yet to play at a World Cup since. Wayne Rooney. Like a lot of Scousers, it's not really surprising that Wayne Rooney is Irish blood. What would have been surprising would have been him choosing to succeed Clinton Morrison and play under Brian Kerr instead of leading the line for England at Euro 2004. He might have Irish grandparents, and according to him, Carsley tried to convince the teenager while both were at Everton. According to Rooney, I was born in England, I'm English. Wayne, it didn't stop Tony Cascarino. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.